You know what's crazy is I can still remember my bad and worst losses like it was yesterday. Like every single detail about it, where I was, who I was with, what I was doing, but I don't remember any crazy wins. I know mentally they happened, but I don't remember any details about it. Like I can remember laying in bed with my back turned to my wife, watching a game on my phone. It was the Cubs Nats. I had Nats money line. They're up by 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth. Cubs load up the bases. There's 2 strikes and 2 outs, and they hit a walk-off grand slam. I remember having the White Sox run line, and I was at a bar in Nashville for a bachelor party again like 5 years ago. And José Abreu hits a 2-run home run to go up by 2 in like the 7th inning, maybe. And it was one of those high fly balls where the runner on first wasn't sure if he's going to tag up or not. And José Abreu passed him on the base paths and gets called out. Like, when does that ever happen? Of course, it only happens when I bet on it. White Sox end up winning by 1. I remember Eagles Bengals over 46 and a half, again, like 5, 6 years ago. Goes to overtime at 23-23, ends at 23-23. The other one, Coastal Carolina game, I don't remember who they were playing, but I know I was watching it in bed on my phone. And the only possible way that I can lose that bet is if there is a pick six in overtime. And sure enough, that happens. A guy housed it 99 yards. It was absolutely bonkers. And I don't know if you guys are like me at all, but after I had a bad beat like that, I had immediately gone to Twitter. I'm searching the name, the bet, the player, the team, like anything I can find about it just to see who else was on that game. In a weird way, I'd scroll for like an hour just hating myself and then finding comfort and solace in the fact that there are other people that got burned on this just as bad as I did. Like, MFing people, I wasn't crazy where I'd DM a player or anything like that, but just like absolutely sitting there hating myself. I remember, like, I've had more bad beats on Scott Van Pelt's show than, you could ever imagine. But again, like, it's crazy. I don't remember any of my crazy wins. And ultimately, doing all of that, like the hate reading or doom scrolling, like, it just makes you feel worse. But looking back on that time where I haven't gambled in about 18 months now, that's when it sort of hit me. I wasn't really chasing wins when I would do that. I was just looking for validation for my losses. And then ultimately, I'd use that as justification to gamble more. I was looking for other people to say, yeah, man, that sucked, because I couldn't tell people that I was betting this much or that I had this much on the game. So I guess in a weird way, it hurt less if somebody else was bleeding too. And I came to find out there's actually a name for that. It's called loss aversion. And what that means is your brain feels pain twice as much as it feels pleasure. So that's why when you lose, those losses hurt way worse. And your brain takes a snapshot of it and it replays it over and over and over. And it's sort of like in this weird masochist way that it's going to try and teach you a lesson, but ultimately gambling hijacked your brain already. So really, it just fuels the fire to continue to bet. And I also remember thinking about, like, damn, if I just lost that badly on something that's such a fluke, my next bet is a surefire winner. So I'd use that as justification to bet more, when in reality, it should be like, yo, slow down. You just got totally hosed over on this. And again, as I look back on it, it turns out that I don't think I was addicted to winning. I mean, frankly, by the end of my gambling days, I barely cared if I won or lost. Like, when I first started out, yeah, I wanted to win. I wanted to beat the casino or the sports book. It was me versus the sports book. But by the end of it, it was really just me versus me. It was me trying to prove to myself that I could control my gambling, and I couldn't. And in recovery programs, they talk about playing the tape through. Well, I did play the tape through. I knew what would happen anytime I built up a bankroll. It was just going to go back down to zero. But again, I can't think of a single big win that I had. And that's what gambling does. It just totally warps and rewires your brain. It takes your memories and just replaces it with pain. If you have a bad beat that you remember vividly like that, drop it in the comments and share your story. I'm sure we've lived the same life at some point, and make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this.